recording, and it's gonna take things easy for this class. We're gonna go back into rate, ratio, and proportion. And we're gonna look at what exactly is rate, not the water rate, but I'm gonna use an example to explain. Okay, so let's look at my screen for me. It's pretty simple. So when we say ratios in the previous class where I had the chocolate bar, right, and I was sharing it amongst you guys, there's something called rate that is involved. Look at this one.
Math shorts. Solving unit rate problems. Unit rate is a ratio of two measurements where...
Pause there. Let me explain that. So, two measurements. Before, we were only talking about one thing. We were only talking about chocolate, for example. All right? But in this thing now, we're looking at two different measurements. So write this definition for me. A rate, right? A rate is a comparison by division between two different, we highlight the word different, quantities. So let's go back to the example yesterday. When I said I got, I think 8 chocolate bars and you got 5 chocolate bars, okay? Are those same quantities? If I said, no, I got chocolate and you guys got vanilla, right? That would be 2 different quantities. So there's a difference, okay? But look at this now, 2 different quantities. It shows how one quantity changes with respect to another. And I gave you a pretty good example last class where we talk about the sugar and the egg. Does anybody remember that?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we said that we had 3 eggs that took X amount of sugar. What happens when we only have 2 eggs? Okay. So I'm going to quickly go back into that before we play the video. Let's load it up. So I want to make sure you understood what I was saying. So let's quickly do a revision of what we did yesterday.
Sir, can you go back to the notes which you were putting about rates, sir?
Here we go. A rate is a comparison by division between 2 different quantities. It shows how one quantity changes with respect to another. Okay, and I'm gonna go back to that example from yesterday. All right, let me just give you a moment to write this off. So, what are the 2 different quantities here? You have 30 miles, you have 1 hour. What is the quantity in 30 miles?
The what's the quantity?
Yeah.
30.
Right, that's the amount of miles, exactly. And the hour is 1. So there's 2 types of quantities. We have miles, that's totally different thing compared to hour. It is not the same thing as if we said we have 8 chocolate bars compared to 5. Those are the same quantities. But when we say miles and hour, those are 2 different things. All right? So let's go back to the example from yesterday. Let's go back here.
Excuse sir, I wasn't finished, sir, with the notes, sir.
Let me scroll back down. All right, let me show you a quick little trick. I'm gonna just double screen. Go there. All right, so there's the notes. While I just look for notes from yesterday.
Sir, can you send me the link, sir?
Sure. Okay, I'm gonna just send it in the chat. So for those who don't have the link, I did show you an example yesterday where you can just save the link. All right. So I'm gonna paste it in the Zoom chat. What you're gonna do, look at this for me, everybody, pay attention. When you open the Zoom link, I mean the notebook link, you press this star button. You press the star button, so it adds it to your bar every time. And when you come into class again, you just look for the bar and you say, okay, I have maths now, click on the maths and it loads it up for you. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Right? But for this example, let's go back to what I was saying, where I said that the example with the chocolate bar. Here we go. Here we go. Exactly. So the chocolate bar was comparing that I got 5 and you guys got 3. But that's one quantity. It's only one chocolate, right? So that's different compared to miles and hour. Everybody understand?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Where the second measurement, or a unit, is 1. Kate and Carl have entered a pie eating contest. Carl can eat 4 pies in 8 minutes. Kate can eat 6 pies in 4 minutes. Sounds like Kate would win, but here's a question. How many pies can each of them eat per minute?
Let's
Unit
go
is
back.
in 2 measurements, where the second measurement, or a unit, is 1. Kate and Carl have entered a pie eating contest. Carl can eat 4 pies in 8 minutes. Kate can eat 6 pies in 4 minutes.
So write that down for me. Carl can eat how many pies?
4 pies in 8 minutes.
4 pies in 8 minutes. And then Kate can eat how many pies?
6 pies in 4 minutes.
6 pies in 4 minutes. Okay.
Excuse me, sir. Is Carl spelled with a C or a K?
Oh, my bad. You can spell it both ways, but Americans spell it with a C. There you go. Okay. So what they're asking you in this question is, what is the rate of eating 1 pie? Right?
Sounds like Kate will win, but here's a question. How many pies can each of them eat per minute?
Right? Or in other words, how many pies can each eat in 1 minute? So write this question for me. How many pies can each person eat in 1 minute? Everybody have that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Unit rate can help us figure this out. If Carl eats 4 pies in 8 minutes, then he can eat 2 pies in 4 minutes.
Let's break that apart. So let me draw something now to explain it. Here we go. Okay. Let's put color green. All right. So this is pi 1. This is pi 2. This is pi 2. And then this is pi 4. Okay. Remind me again, how many minutes did it take to eat the 4 pies? 8 minutes, right?
8 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So shouldn't it be possible that if I eat half of these pies, it should take me half the time? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, we can say Carl can eat 2 pies in how many minutes?
4.
And
In 4 minutes.
Oh.
Because if he eats half the amount of pies, it should take him half the amount of time. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Minutes. 1 pie in 2 minutes.
Right. Let's go further now. So let me erase everything here. We have 2 pies now. We're working with my bad. We have 2 pies now. Okay. Somebody remind me, how long does it take to eat the 2 pies?
2 minutes. I mean 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Let's go back up. 4 minutes. Okay, look at this from here. If I take away half of those pies, right? So I only have 1 pie left. Shouldn't it take me half the time to eat 1 pie?
Should.
Yeah. So now if I say Carl can eat 1 pie in how many minutes?
2.
2 minutes.
All right.
As I said, could the answer be, excuse me, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, I think I found out what the answer is, sir. According to all of what we just did, sir, so you can only eat half a pie in 1 minute.
There you go. You're writing it. All right, Khalil. Excellent. Excellent, Khalil. Everybody see why? Because if we keep on breaking it down, eventually we're gonna get to this 1 minute mark, right? So we're at 2 minutes, let's do one more. If I have, let me just erase this again. If I have 1 pi now and it takes me 2 minutes, right?
Excuse me, sir. What about Kate, sir?
Yeah, we're gonna get to Kate, but let's just finish Carl, right? We're gonna cut this in half. There we go. Look at that for me now.
It would be 1 minute.
Exactly. So we're gonna say Carl can eat a half pie in 1 minute. And that was done by Khalil. Good job, Khalil. Okay, so we know how much minutes it takes to eat a pie by Carl. Let's figure it out for Kate now. Okay,
Sir, I know.
you know? All right, take me through it.
So Kate can eat a pie in 1 pie in 30 seconds
But
and 2
Nicholas, how
pies
did
in
you
1
get
minute.
13?
All right, wait, so let's go to the steps. So take me through the first step, Nicholas.
Okay, so if we're cutting in half, right?
Right,
So the time would also be cut in half. So that would be in 2 minutes.
right. So let's draw the 6 pies. We have 1,
Excuse me, sir. I think.
3,
Excuse me, sir. I think there is a error there, sir.
where?
Sir, I think there is an error there, sir. Because Nicholas said that it would be cut in half, sir, and I know that 6 is not a half of 4 because square root is 8, not 6.
So we're gonna draw it out to explain it properly, right? So
Yes,
follow
sir.
Nicholas, right? We have 6 pies, right?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now tell me, cut half of these pies. How much pies do we have left?
We have 3.
Okay, so let's write that. So Nicholas says we have the kid can eat 3 pies, right? And if we cut
In 2 minutes.
in 2 minutes, exactly. Let's do one more.
Excuse me, sir, but I don't understand. How did you end up with 2 minutes?
Okay,
We're cutting them all in half.
right. So
If we cut the pies in half, then the time would also be cut in half.
right, because we had 4 minutes, half of 4 is 2 minutes. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do one more because we're almost there. Right. Let's cut 3 pies now in a half. 1, 2, 3. Person wants to do this for me.
Sir, I have a question.
Huh?
So like for 5 and 3, since they're odd numbers, how do you turn them into half? Is it like
That's a good question. So look at this for a minute. Remember that we did the decimals last term, right? And decimals is like a fraction. So if you can't get a whole, that means you're gonna get a fraction of a pi. So look at this for me now. We know that a 3 can't be perfect, perfectly divided. So we're gonna say, okay, we know that 1 is gonna be part of it, right? So half of 3 is gonna be 1, but then how do we divide this other pi? We're
You
gonna
Is
cut
it in
it
half?
in half, sir. So
Right.
it would be 1 point. Oh no, not 1.5.
right.
Or would it be 1.5? I don't.
Yes.
Wait.
It'll be 1.5. There we go. So see, half of the 3 pies would be 1.5. Everybody understands?
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Okay, so let's put that. So Kate can eat 1.5 pies in how many minutes?
1
1
minute.
minute.
1 minute. And that's it. So we can just write the answer right here. And we'll be finished. Let's put the answer right here. Kate can eat 1.5 pies in 1 minute, and Carl can eat a half pie in 1 minute.
Boy, sir, math can be very fun if you know how to do it.
Right, it's very easy sometimes, right? When you know the steps. So let's just watch the rest of the video just to make sure that we were correct.
Or half a pie in 1 minute. This is Carl's unit rate.
Let's see if we were correct. Did Carl eat half a pie in 1 minute? Yes,
Yes, indeed. We are very correct, sir.
correct.
Thank God the video does not think that we're dumb.
Good job, guys.
The ratio of the number of pies and time in minutes. Ratios and proportions.
So to express this value as a rate, write this for me. To express Carl's rate, we use a fraction. Here's a fraction. So you're going to write this in your book. We're going to say 1/2 divided by 1. All right, I want one person to raise their hand and tell me what this means in a sentence.
A half. Oh, wait. Wait, sir, what was the question?
Okay. So this fraction represents what Carl can eat in 1 minute. Just tell me exactly how many pies can Carl eat and in how many minutes. So Carl can eat.
Carl can eat half a pie in 1 minute.
Exactly. And you express it by putting a half divided by a 1. Right? Or you can just put a half, put pi beside the half, a half pi divided by 1 minute. For every minute, there's going to be 1/2 pi eat. And that's a rate. All right? Now, your classwork for the next 1 minute, you're going to do the same thing for Kate. Right? Let's put draw. I'm going to give you 1 minute to tell me your answer, and the first person to tell me gets a point. You put a timer. So,
I got it.
got it already? Okay.
Kate can eat 1.5 pies in 1 minute. So, sir, you put one and then a half over 1.
Okay, that's correct. Let's put the pi. That is correct. Good job.
Yes, sir, I do not understand, sir. What to do, sir?
Right. Let's go back over it, Khalil. So we were
No,
saying,
to put it in a ratio, sir.
so to put it in a ratio, Khalil, we're gonna put the amount of pies that Carl or Kate ate divided by 1, because the 1 means the amount of time, which is minutes.
Yes, sir.
Look back at the sentence. Carl can eat a half pie in 1 minute as a rate that is 1 divided by 2 over 1. Right? And that's it for rate. Okay, good job, everybody. That was great. Let's play the rest of the video.
Proportions show us the math behind unit rate. If Carl eats 4 pies in 8 minutes, how many pies would he eat in 1 minute? In other words, what is his unit rate? Since a unit equals 1, we know we need to divide 8 into 8 to get 1. To keep the fractions equivalent, we must also divide 4 by 8. Now we can see Carl's.
Okay, so this is the second method, right up for me. So this is the second method to find rates. So method 2 of finding rate. Let's put that. Method 2 of finding rates. What we just did a while ago was method 1, where you just half it each time. Method 2 now. Method 2 of finding rates says step 1. Step 1. Write the original fraction. Right? In this case, it was 4 divided by 8. Right? Step 2, right? Write a second fraction with 1 as the denominator and the numerator is unknown. Sorry, as an unknown. Step 3, so let me just explain what we have so far. Draw. So we have 4 divided by 8 is equal to unknown divided by 1. That's what you should have right there, okay? And then now, step 3 is going to be divide the numerator by the denominator in the original fraction. Let's look at that step. That is when we said, so back up here, 4 divided by 8, we actually divide. So we're going to say division sign 4 divided by 8. All right? 8 into 4 goes how many times?
0 times.
Good
So
job.
the answer would be 0.5.
Right. So it will be 0 times. Then we'll put a decimal and carry down a 0 here. We say 8 times 0 gives us 0. Right? Then now we say 8 into 40. That goes 5 times. Right? And 8 times 40 gives us, 8 times 5 gives us back that 40. Rather. Sorry. Gives us back that 40. And that's how now we have 0.5. How can you express 0.5 as a fraction?
A half.
Right. So that means, let's put it in red. Let's put 0.5. Go scroll on here. So 0.5 is the same thing as a half is equal to a half. And now look at this for me. That half represents how much pi Carl ate. So now we're going to put that half as the unknown here. Let's put that pi as a half. And then that's it, guys. That is it. Everybody understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So that is it for rate. We're finished with rate. So we learned method 1 and we learned method 2. Good job. The next,
I have a question, sir. Is there as I said, there's no third method, right, sir?
no, there's no third method. There's only the easy method and the easier method. Right? Okay, let's do one more example. We're gonna say we have apples and orange. Here's an example class question. We're gonna do it together. Write this for me. Here we go. It says, a man in a store is selling oranges. He tells you that the price is $10 for 8 oranges. What is the cost for 1 orange? Or in other words, what is the cost per orange? Remember saying, sir, what is this word, per? I know you might have heard of it, but the word per means for every, right? The word, we put it in italics, the word per means for every which is a rate. Everybody understand the question? We're gonna attempt the question together. Here we go.
So it's like we're playing a war on them, right, sir?
Repeat.
Sir, so it's like we're about to start a war, right, sir, on them, right, sir?
No. Okay. So look at this from the calculator and everybody, right? It's asking us what's the cost of 1 orange. But in the question, what's the cost for the 8 oranges?
Only $10.
Right. So we can find the price of 1. Here's what we're gonna do. Right? We're gonna say $10 for 8 oranges means that 1 orange equal to
X.
divided by 8. Let's go back to the method that we just did a while ago. Let's explain why we say it's 10 divided by 8. Okay? Let's look at this one now.
That's good, sir. Will the answer be 1.25?
That would be correct. Right, that's correct. But look at this one now, Khalil. This fraction, 8 divided by 10, represents, okay, for every 8 oranges, it'll be $10. So in other words, if I want to find the price of 1 orange, I'm gonna say literally, put the division sign, put the 8 here, and divide it by 10. And what do I get? 10 into 8 goes?
0.8.
One moment. Hold on.
Or 10 doesn't go into 8, so you have to put a decimal point and then put down a 0, which will make it
Right.
0.8.
Hold on, my bad. It's actually the other way around. Hold on 1 second.
Is it? Okay.
Because remember, the question, let's look back at the question. It says that for every $10, you get 8 oranges. My bad. It never said 8 oranges give you 10. It said 10 to 8. So you would actually say, let me show you. You would say the price is $10 and that gives you 8 oranges. That's how you do it. Based on which value comes first, that would be the numerator. If $10 come first, that has to be stated first. It's gonna be 10 divided by 8, right? Is equal to 1 orange. 1 orange. Let me just enlarge this. Right, yeah. 10 divided by 8 equal to 1 orange. Okay. Now, we're literally, as I said, gonna put the numerator under the division sign, and then put the denominator, which is 8, outside. And what do we get? 8 into 10 goes how many times?
1.
Time.
Right?
It's 1.
Right. 8 times 1 gives us 8.
8.
Subtract them. We get 2. Right? Can 8 go into 2?
No.
No. So put a decimal point. And now, what do we do?
Down a 0.
Right? We're going to say 20. Right? 8 into 20 goes how many times?
2.
2. Right? 8 times 2?
16.
16. Right? Subtract them. Okay? Now, 20 minus 16 gives you
4.
4. Okay? Can 8 go into 4?
No, sir.
No,
Cannot.
sir.
Put a
Add a 0.
Right. Okay? Now look at this one now. 8 into 40.
5.
5.
5. So that means, because now when I multiply, I should get 40 again. So I am good here. So that means the answer is 1.25 is equal to
1 orange.
1.
And sir, you can say it costs $1.25.
Right. So let's write that down. Let's write that down. Go down here.
Boy, maths can be fun at times if you know how to do it, right, sir?
Yes, so true. So now we say, so that means it
Otherwise, some people hate math so much.
true. Really wanted that too. Cost 1.25 for 1 orange. And that's the quick answer for the quiz. Everybody understands?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm gonna give you one question to attempt for homework. Write it to me. Homework question. Okay. Write it for me. Express each of the following as a rate. 280 words in 5 minutes. Right? Let's go back to this. Let's go back here. If we say Carl can eat 4 pies in 8 minutes, how do we express this again?
So we would have to divide it, sir, then write it out as a ratio.
Exactly. So we would really put a draw here. I'm going to give you the answer for the first one, 280. And you would put words, right, divided by 5 minutes. And that's your rate. Okay, so that's the answer for the first one. Let me give you more to practice. All right, here's the second one. 300 cents for 5 mangoes. Okay, 312 kilometers in 6 hours. Right, and finally, 574 beats in 7 minutes. That's your first homework. There's 4 questions, well, 3 questions, because I did the first one for you. And then the second is gonna be for you to answer this question. A student reads 24 words in 15 seconds. How many words does the student read in 1 second? 1 second. And I want you to try this one, 5 seconds. All right, so try this question for homework. Understand, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, excellent. And that is the big part of today's class. We wanted to look at rate, and I wanted to give you some class questions to practice and also do homework. But quickly, I'm gonna do one more class question to make sure you understand. One more class question, okay? So now, what we're gonna be doing is that I am gonna say we have a normal adult heart. Let me enlarge it. Right, so a normal adult's heart beats 360 times in 5 minutes when he is resting. What is the amount of beats per minute? Okay. This is called the normal heart rate. All right. I want someone to raise their hand to attempt this question. Anybody? All right, F0. Yes.
Sir, first we put 36 over 5. 360 over 5, sorry. And then we put equal.
Okay. 360.
Huh? Yes, sir. 360. And then you put the line that the fraction line, sir, I don't know what it's called. And then you put 1 at the bottom.
And you put the question sign over 1 minute. Excellent. Okay.
And then you divide 360 by 5.
Right.
The other way around.
You're gonna say 5 into 360. Remember, you put the numerator as the one that's being divided. So now we say 5 into 3, can't. 5 into 36,
5 into 36 is 7.
7 times. 5 times 7,
35.
35.
And when you subtract that, it leaves 1. And then you bring down the 0, which makes it 10. And 5 goes into 10 2 times
Ooh, okay.
without the remainder. So it would be 72 beats a minute.
Right. So the answer, therefore, is 72 per minute. Good job. One last question before you go. One last question. This one now, I want Kai to answer. All right.
Which question, sir?
All right, here's the question. The wing beat of the hummingbird has a rate of 90 beats per second. How many beats does it make in 4 seconds? So it's not a typical question that we were doing.
360 beats per every 4 seconds.
Take me through the steps, come on.
Okay, so 90 multiplied by 4.
90 what? Beats per second,
90 beats per second
right?
multiplied by 4 seconds.
Exactly, and that gives you
360 beats every 4 seconds.
every.
4 seconds.
Excellent. I'm gonna put I. Okay. Every 4 seconds. That was done by Kai. Huh, there we go. Okay, guys, excellent. This is a great class. I hope you learned something. To recap, we used a real life scenario and understood what rate is. It's simply comparing two things, right? Two different quantities to show how one changes with another. We used the example of Carl and Kate eating pies, and we said that Carl can eat half a pie in 1 minute, and Kate can eat 1.5 in that same minute. Then we figured out the second method of finding rates. We said that simply dividing the numerator by the denominator will give us how much it takes in one rate, in one range of rate, right? Then finally, we practice 3 class questions to make sure you understood it. And then now you have 2 homework to complete. Express these 3 values as rates, and then now complete this question where it asks you how much words can a student read in 15 seconds. When it reads in 1 second, how much will it be? And 5 seconds, how much will it be? That's the end of today's class. Any questions?